Hey everybody, this is Jordan from Sleeklens.com, and in this video I'm going to show you how to edit a Milky Way photo in Lightroom. Okay, so what we have here is a Milky Way photo. It's actually taken at the beach, in an ocean setting where it's really dark skies, but we do have a little bit of light pollution over there. I'm not really going to touch that in this tutorial, but I'm just going to show you how to bring out some of the Milky Way a little bit better than it is and kind of make it look like a cool night photo. And so the first thing we need to do is kind of concentrate on two things, and that's color and clarity, and those things really help out the photo just with a couple quick adjustments. And so the first thing we're going to do is actually take the temperature. Since this is sort of warm here, we're going to take the temperature and take it down a little bit to make it look more cool, like a more night photo. So I'm going to gradually drag that down. And if you're following along, the values that I have in here will probably be different from your photo depending on how it was taken. But these are just a couple quick edits that you can kind of play around with and give you like a starting point. So again, take the temperature down a little bit. And also something that I like to do personally is actually give a hint of magenta tint to it. So it makes it look a little bit more purple. So now we have a cool looking photo here. And before I do any adjustments over here in the detail panel here, or the basic panel, I'm going to go down to the effects panel. And if you have a newer version of Lightroom, you're going to notice the dehaze slider down here. This is a perfect slider for using on night photos such as this. As I scroll to the right here, you can see it kind of increase the contrast, and just this one slider brings out more detail in the sky here. It actually removes the haze that's in the sky, allowing me to get more detail in the Milky Way here. And now doing that, you can see we do have the detail here, but we're actually getting a lot of vignetting over here. So I can actually decrease the vignetting this way, or I can go to my lens corrections and enable my camera profiles, which will automatically take a little bit of that away. It also straightens out the photo just a little bit, but that's one thing I want to make sure I have there. Okay, so now we can go back to the basic panel, and now we can play with the clarity. So I'm going to bump the clarity up, and as you can see, it gives a little bit more detail as well in the midtones, which are right around this area. And now I can start playing with the basic adjustments. For this one, it's going to be, again, a little different from the photo that you're making, but now I'm just going to take the highlights, kind of play with those. I don't want to bring out any more of this night pollution here, so I'm just going to keep the highlights roughly where it was. The whites I can take up a little bit to actually bring out a little bit more stars, and also the blacks I can take down, and you can see that actually brings back more of the sky. And so one other thing you can do that is kind of a local adjustment is actually getting a brush. And so I have a brush here, and all I'm going to do is take the exposure up, and I'm going to take it up more than what it needs to be, just so I can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to take it up more than what it needs to be, and now I can take my highlights up a little bit, and also my clarity up a little bit, dehaze up a little bit. And now with my flow set to a little bit below 50, I got mine set at right here about 42. I'm going to get a fairly small brush, and I'm just going to paint in some of the parts that I want to stand out in the Milky Way, which are these like white outer edges. And I'm just doing a couple clicks here and there just to kind of bring it out a little bit. And I'm just trying to rush this a little bit so I'm not taking up everybody's time, but just painting this in. And now I can take the exposure up, and I can see what kind of pattern I painted. So I'm going to do right there. Let's take the contrast up too. Play with the highlights to see what else we're bringing out. Clarity, I can probably give that a little bit more of a boost. Dehaze, I don't want to mess with that. But saturation, I can do that. And also I can give it a little bit of a tint. So right around there. So there we go. That brings out a little bit more of the detail. Obviously, with very high resolution Milky Way photos, those are majority either stacked, composited, or just very, very high resolution cameras that were able to get all the detail and perfect situation as far as being no light pollution. This is just one quick shot, and this was just me guessing where the Milky Way was. And so there it is. So let's go ahead and click done here, and now let's go see the before and after. So you can see this was kind of like a warmer, muggy shot here, and this one just kind of brought out a lot more detail, made it look like a more cooler shot. So hope you guys enjoyed those quick little tips on editing Milky Way photography in Lightroom. This has been Jordan from Sleeklens.com, and I'll see you in the next video.